For the 25-lap Portuguese Grand Prix, Fabio Quartararo on pole for the 11th time in the Premier Class, on the in his first race appearance since the Spanish Grand Prix in Jerez way back on July the 9th, and Joan Mir on row 3. 2020 Portimao winner Miguel Oliveira goes from the head of row 4, his 6 as well, with Danilo Petrucci, and then Lecco owner Lorenzo Savadori and the battered and bruised 21 riders starting this Portuguese Grand Prix. We're minus the unfortunate Jorge Martin.
The grid ready to...
today for flying Frenchman Fabio Quartararo. Can he make it back-to-back wins? Can Yamaha start a MotoGP 2010? Alex Rins and Johan Zarco, the World Championship leader, on the front row. Jack Miller, Franco Morbidelli, 8th place on the grid for him in MotoGP, ahead of the world champion Joan Mir in 9th. Keep an eye on great race pace yesterday. Miguel Oliveira, of course, our Portimao race winner here 4 months ago.
Delayed and why nowhere near as long as it is in Qatar. You still favour a Ducati to get there in front. And if Quartararo can get a brilliant start for him to still lead out front, and that could be a absolutely brilliant performance.